bit of a trend now, I feel like, isn't it? Like buying one of those little ice baths, putting it in your garden, probably using it like once and then never coming back to it.
Yeah. My mum used to do the cold showers growing up.
Okay.
And I used to like remember like her making strange noises in the shower and thinking, what is she doing?
She all right?
It turns out she was having cold showers. And it's the same with the cold. Like if you've had a really stressful day, you go and sit in one of those pods for a couple of minutes and nothing matters. You have to be in your body, in the moment.
Running makes everything worse for me.
Yeah.
Makes everything 10 times worse.
He talks a lot about his ADHD mind and he can't like be still. But for 3 or 4 minutes, like he was so in that moment, which was amazing to watch.
Well, that's what we want to talk
That's
about.
what we want to get into.
That's
Everyone
what the
wants
fun now is going to be. That's what this episode is going to be called.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Couple of Coaches podcast. We have a special guest with us today. We have Ben, who is a performance coach focusing on mind, body and breath work. We'll let you introduce yourself, Ben.
Yeah, so worked in the industry, started out.
Straight in.
Sorry, that was really direct.
I guess I've done strength and conditioning for over the years. Started out as a personal trainer, Virgin Active, and then kind of, I guess, continually evolved. So started out with Mike.
Yeah.
Back in
the day.
And Nathan as well.
Hello.
Producer Nate. Free PTs back
Producer
in the day.
Nathan.
So how old were you all then? Not to embarrass you all.
So I think I reckon maybe you're 1 year younger than me, I think. What age are
I'm
you?
34.
When was you 34?
October. Well, I'm 35 in October.
Yeah, so...
No,
I'm May, 35 in May.
I'm the year above you at school, but you're
Yes,
like...
you're both a year above me.
That's it,
we're
yeah.
Ben and
Yeah.
I in the same
Yeah.
school year.
Well, when I turned up to Virgin, them two were PTs and I was a cleaner. And I used to just look at them and go, yeah, one day I'll be there. And I made it.
No, it's been like, it's so amazing to see everyone like in
How
that
it's
era.
changed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nate's
it's
not
like
a PT
everyone
anymore.
doing their thing and doing it. Well, yeah, so 18, I think, done the PT for years. I worked overseas, worked in Spain, Egypt.
What did you do there? Did you
So Spain was like a gap year, I would say. So I worked in Mallorca
Nice.
as like a rep for 6 months. It was a
Nice.
great experience, like really good fun. Going down to like Magaluf every week. It was, you saw
Full
some
on.
savage things. Like,
As in like
honestly.
you was working and then going down there
Yeah,
partying?
yeah.
Right.
So like you work, it weren't you go out and pack up and do the strip. I had a job for TUI, which was really good because you get your travel, you get your accommodation, and then you get paid as well. But yeah, meeting all the other reps going down there, but the sights you would see, literally, some of those, what you see, horrendous.
X-rated.
Yeah, just like crazy stuff. But really great experience. But at that point, I think I'd done 4 or 5 years of the PT thing.
Yeah.
So it was really good for me to just travel a bit.
Yeah.
And then the following year was Egypt in Sharm el Sheikh, working in a fitness role it was like a 5-star resort. So another
nice.
amazing experience. Doing the PT, doing the group exercise in a different
Oh, so you was that
culture.
person standing outside
Yeah.
getting everyone going,
Oh.
doing the clapping.
Do you know what? It was like we did. I used to teach aqua aerobics.
Did ya?
Yeah, so we used to do it at like 12 o'clock every day. There was like a team of
Boyd.
3 of us. So like standing on the podium, you'd find that your shoulder one side was more tanned than the other.
Oh no.
But we used to have a laugh. Like the guy who did it with me, a guy called Robbie and a girl called Christina. So Robbie was like a PT as well, so never had taught aqua. So we used to just have a laugh with it. We used to call it train and tan and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, and then there was loads of different activities like the PT and different boot camps and that. So again, amazing experience to go away, and do. Then sort of evolved, I guess, from there. Worked, come back, and I was a little bit like, what to do next? I wasn't sure if I was going to do like the fitness thing. I wasn't sure where I stood. I'd been 9 months away. I had no clients when I come back, and then I had one client, and he was like, "Oh, there's this job going in London. Why don't you like check it out?" And it was a job like a company I'd never heard of, like an online fitness company. I looked into it and applied and got the job. And for me, that was like a really good thing because it got me back into the industry. So it was with Joe Wicks, the body coach.
The body coach. When he was when he first kind of started the online thing.
Yeah, so I kind of saw a lot of like his growth. Because I think when I started, I started with like 50 other staff, and a lot of like PTs, nutritionists, like everyone was kind of like the same, which was good. Like everyone got on together. I think in terms of his following, he had like maybe a few 100,000 at the time. And then obviously we all come in and his following just got right up.
It was all down to me.
I'll take credit for it. No, but he just saw like his growth with his books and stuff, and amazing experience working.
Good working for him?
Yeah, like it was amazing. I come in and the role was basically I came in and I thought I don't want to do this role for long. I want to try and like show that I can help with other stuff.
Yeah.
The role was called support coach. So he had like an online PDF fat loss program.
Yeah.
So you basically support the clients with that, which was but quickly I guess I stood out a little bit because I created a workout for the staff. I called it the 505 Club.
Yeah.
So every Monday, 5:05, everyone like shut their laptops, and I taught them a group exercise workout in the other office.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped to stand out from everybody else, that I was like, I could do
more.
Bit more.
Yeah. So was really lucky with working with Joe, because he gave me like some amazing opportunities. He put me in front of his audience, you know, and
because you were doing online stuff.
Yeah. So like
Right.
I was helping with different bits and pieces, like just bouncing ideas off each other with like fitness workouts and movements or titles for YouTube as well, looking at how we can help people with like knee injuries. So we did like an easy on the kneesy workout, stuff like that.
Cool.
And then there was one day, it was a January boot camp, and I think it was an early morning. So I was just in like around, and I think he was away the next week, and he was like, "Oh, I've got Ben like out the back. Ben, come in." And like I was just like a rabbit in the headlights, put me in front of Facebook. I don't know how many. It was like
hundreds of thousands of people.
It was like a few thousand people, and he was like, "Oh, you're around? Are you around next week?" I was on the spotlight, and I was like, "Yeah,
I am now. Yeah.
yeah, I am, yeah. I've cancelled the holiday. I'll do it." And then he said, "Yeah, can you deliver the session?" So like for the next couple of weeks, there was that, and just for probably a year, I was able to do a lot of different things. He supported, and so helped me to grow, and probably like for me, when I look back, more importantly, like get me back into fitness. Like, and stuff. That's my passion. If that hadn't have happened, I don't know if I'd have got back into the industry.
Could have took a different turn.
Yeah, I could have done like I'd done some like testing or trials in recruitment and. Like
that
stuff
might have been,
like
you
that.
know, it's mad how one little thing can change.
Is that where online coaching like stemmed from? Was Joe
I think
Wicks?
he kind of just started it, didn't he?
So he was like, I think he's a bit like a cartoon character, like people describe him. And he used to do like the 15-second videos, shout out the window and everything like that. And like he has his app and stuff like that now.
Yeah, I think he kind of like.
I think it was he would probably describe it as like he was in. He's obviously very likable, but also in the right place with regards to Instagram.
He just did it at the right time, didn't he?
Like,
so,
did always cooking video. I remember his cooking videos. They used to be really good.
Lean in 15, wasn't it?
Yeah. Lean in 15.
So he used to be like, "That's how you get lean in 15."
Yeah.
The
because Instagram videos were like 15
midget trees.
Yeah.
But honestly, like the best, like some fantastic experiences, and like obviously, you know, I think, you know, what he's achieved is. With the lockdown, he did a lot of stuff in lockdown.
Yeah,
smashed YouTube. Did that like for kids and stuff.
But
as well,
what you know, he talks about that 10-year overnight success, right? And what you don't necessarily see with those, like the P with Joe, is all the times that he was trying to do it. Because I was there, like I was standing behind the camera when he was trying to do the school stuff, and there was not really many people following. But then he made his own luck. He did it, and I think. There was like 100,000 live viewers on YouTube on like the first day that he did it.
That's mental.
And that really helped with his.
So I think there was videos of him as well, like going around like handing leaflets to people, trying to get him to come to his boot camp when he first did boot camps, like on a green in London. So It does go to show, doesn't it? Like, obviously, everyone starts down there.
Yeah.
He just was persistent with it and
bit
of luck at the right time. But if he still went around handing fucking leaflets, getting to go to a boot camp. So shows the graph there, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like, you know, you make your own luck. You
make your
put
own
yourself
luck,
out there. And you work hard, and like he's made his own success.
Nice.
So what happened after the body coach then?
So then after that, I was in Richmond. So we had the space in Richmond with Joe, and I was also teaching for a group X, like a studio called Dig Me Fitness, like cycle classes. And then I joined them. I left like working with Joe. I kind of felt like at the time I plateaued perhaps, and I didn't really want to do much more with trainers that weren't necessarily Joe at the time. So I went and joined Dig Me Fitness, and then went into head up their one of their offerings, which again was a really good experience working in a boutique in London.
Yeah.
You know, in Richmond's a very affluent area, lots of like interesting characters that you would meet there and coach. And so I did that for a few years. What was it? 2018, maybe 6 years. I don't know what year is it? And that would take us to now, wouldn't it?
2025.
Yeah, was it? No, so I left in a few years ago now. So maybe 5 years. Hang on. I don't know. I was teaching from a point, and I joined full time for like 5 years. So I went into lockdown with them.
Okay.
Which was quite an interesting experience, as I'm sure you guys have got like fond or interesting memories of lockdown happening.
That's where we met.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old
During
lockdown.
lockdown, did you break the rules?
We did.
Well, kind of. I was allowed to PT one person outside. So I PT'd her for free.
Yeah, come for a session.
for 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Some repeat,
Yeah, good old lockdown.
Yeah, that's where we met. Yeah, so.
That's when at the end of the lockdown, you started doing online coaching, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, obviously started coaching some clients kind of online, but just kind of giving them some workouts to do.
Yeah,
and then, just all starts transitioning. I think so many people transitioned around that time. But good old COVID. Good
old lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, I remember the day we went in, because I think I had a bit of a lot of knowledge, obviously, where I worked before with home workout. So I kind of got the instructors of the boutique. I was like, right, we're going to go in and film some YouTube. So that really helped them stay afloat. But like great memories of everyone like coming together. With it being in Richmond, it was Ben Shepherd used to go to the studio in Richmond, like in the cycle. So we did this thing called Ben v Ben. So every Thursday, I think it was, we did a live split screen workout on Instagram for like 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, like, and it actually got to the point I was kind of like, I think we kind of done this now. So I sort of said something, and I was thinking this might be it. Maybe I'll like say to him after, but then at the end of the session, he was like, "Oh, see you next week." Then.
No.
Yeah, I think it was really good for everyone, like for us, for sure, of course, like his audience, everything like that. But I think he really enjoyed that purpose as well. It's different because like he, as someone who like, you know, was on GMB, which is quite serious at that time.
100%.
I can imagine it gave him some good purpose as well.
Yeah,
but it was quite funny how I was thinking, I think we're
done now. Next week, all right, see you then.
But yeah, like it was good fun, and obviously like a really good experience. And
wicked.
So yeah, then went freelance off the back of that, and that's where I'm at today. Like sort of evolved a little bit, doing more of the breath work, and I do the ice bath thing.
Well, that's what we want to talk about.
That's what we want to get into.
That's what the thumbnail is going to be. That's what this episode is going to be called.
Yeah.
Right. So now you've got a bit of a backstory on Ben. We're gonna talk about. We'll come back to where he is now in terms of like with his career, but we're going to talk about ice baths and breath work. Yeah, me and Emma don't have a fucking clue.
We're completely new to it. Yeah.
Educate us, because it's quite interesting. See a lot of people do it. I mean, obviously I've got in the sea a few times, but I don't do that as a health thing. I do that more of a just being a twat, getting in the sea when it's freezing cold. You know?
It's a bit of a trend now, I feel like, isn't it? Like buying one of those little ice baths, putting it in your garden, probably using it like once and then never coming back to it.
Yeah, no, I think so. From my experience, I my mum used to do the cold showers growing up.
Okay.
And I used to remember her making strange noises in the shower and thinking, what is she doing?
She all right?
It turned out she was having cold showers. But I think I realized quickly why she was doing it. She was doing it because it made her feel invigorated and it gave her energy. And I think she had challenges with bringing me and my sister and brother up on her own for a lot of time. And I think I can really see why she benefited from it. And I think then when I used to start to experiment, use the cold showers. And then when I was about, I think 21, I was doing my first marathon and I used to fill up the wheelie bin with cold water and just go in it afterwards and the same thing. And then I started to really enjoy all the content on recovery in sport and see all the ice bath, cryotherapy, stuff like that. And then having left Digme, I'd been doing the cold, I had the tub in the garden, I got it during lockdown, I think. And then, but I was always, consistently doing the cold showers and whatnot. And then when I left Digme, I thought, why don't I train people to be able to do it? What about doing that? And I'd done yoga qualifications and breath work and I kind of pitched it to, because I was doing some work for Nuffield Health and I pitched it to them. And at the time they didn't have any budget to buy the portable tubs. So I was like, why don't I just buy 5 tubs and see what happens? And did that. And we started a brand called Keep Your Cool. Yeah. The idea to keep your core in an ice bath, but also stress, mental, mind, body, everything linked. And we started the concept and quickly found that it was a real skill set to be able to coach people to do it. Yeah. And we got really busy 2 years ago, maybe now. I probably coached, I think I've probably coached about 1,500 plus individual people into those portable ice baths. Wow. So yeah, it's been amazing, really amazing, because it's very rare you get to see fear in people. Yeah. And it's amazing that people trust you. Yeah. Because it's so far out of a lot of people. Even now, with it being a trend, there's probably huge amounts of people that have never experienced it. Free Bridges chairman Paul, Faley. I did a session for him and he's never experienced we had 5-degree water, and I said to him, when have you ever done that in your life? And I think he's 62. He's never, ever. But amazing result, what you see in him when he was in there, so yeah, it's...
That's cold, isn't it? 5 degrees.
Yeah, 5. We did him in January time. And he was interested, but then I think I texted him the day before and I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. And he didn't reply. And I think he was half expecting me not to turn up. But I turned up and fair play, he was there. But I could obviously sense he was, to start, he was a bit I don't like to call it nervous. I like to call it excited. Yeah. There was a bit of fear as well. But we did all the work and he did it and he was amazing. And he sat and was still. And he talks a lot about his ADHD mind. And he can't be still. But for 3 or 4 minutes, he was so in that moment, which was amazing to watch, because that ADHD for him has probably been an asset as a businessman, creative energy, do the next thing, but really challenging in the wrong moment, with focus and stuff like that.
What do you find is the biggest benefit that you see that people have with ice baths?
Yeah, so I think mental side 100%, because people can, you can easily stay and do things that are really easy now, can't you? You can go, okay, Alexa, turn the heating to 20
everything's easy
degrees. Yeah. And that's a big challenge for people that but I think it's going to go 360 and people really understanding how important it is to challenge themselves. But I think mental side for sure. Because sometimes when you talk about physical and the science, and I don't really talk about that because I've had doctors before and things like that, and you can get questioned, and it's just pointless because it's so I only ever really talk about the mental side.
The mental side of it.
And it's sometimes it's not even about the temperature of the water. It's the fact that
you're doing it.
They're booked in, and they booked in for a workshop 2 months away, and they've got 2 months to get in their own head, and they got that morning, and then they have a coffee in the morning and they get a bit more anxious and they're like, I'm really scared now. And, you know, it's not even about that. It's about like the whole journey leading up to it, you know.
And once you've achieved that, it unlocks a new level in terms of what you can then later on achieve in life. I think it's is it Wim Hof? Like his wife died or something, didn't it? So he started getting into Nathan No More, I think. Read his book, didn't you?
Yeah, his wife, he was doing it already. He did it sort of accidentally when he was younger. And he met this woman and she was amazing, but had this like dark cloud, as he called it. And then she actually killed herself. Pretty horrible, obviously. But yeah, so he didn't start because of that. But obviously that would have helped him overcome it. I mean, that and having 4 kids, I think, distracted you.
But I guess in terms of if you go, I mean, he was obviously going into like minus whatever water, but that kind of takes your mind to a whole new place.
Yeah.
You forget everything, right? Yeah. Nothing else matters.
Exactly.
In that time.
Exactly. And you think what other people would do to get that feeling? Booze, drugs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're going and drinking loads because everything is just numbed. And it's the same with the cold. Like if you've had a really stressful day, you go and sit in one of those pods for a couple of minutes and nothing matters. You have to be in your body, in the moment. It's a really powerful tool. But like you say, I think probably some people can buy one and use it once and then not. Yeah,
people need that accountability.
Yeah, it's like the whole Peloton thing, right? You can just use it as a
No, I actually follow a guy on TikTok. He's like an ex drug and alcohol struggles with. He's in like rehabilitation or whatever, and he's on like day like 200 and something now on a trot of getting in his garden and getting in his pod. But I think that's his thing now, right?
Yeah.
Gets in that water, stops it, gives him that purpose to do that every day, gives him his hit of dopamine or whatever, and doesn't need to then drink or do drugs.
Yeah.
So massive benefits for people.
Yeah, hugely. Like, you see, I've spoke to people, like I spoke to a guy, I did a workshop and it was actually for the police, and this guy had he was running a lot, but he was really struggling mentally, even with doing a lot of running. And he was diagnosed with PTSD, and one of the therapists like said about the cold water, and he was telling me it's changed his life. Like it's really, interestingly, the running didn't help, but sometimes with physical movement, you're kind of like trying to run away from your issues and stuff, and it's not always gonna. But the cold, he was telling me, was a catalyst to massively help him, and he needs that now. Like
running makes everything worse for me.
Yeah.
Makes everything 10 times worse.
Yeah. That's so interesting though, because I literally just, and I'm sure a lot of people just think it's good for recovery and for waking yourself up in the morning, but there's obviously so much more behind it, and it's helped people, like you said, with PTSD and stuff.
Yeah, hugely. Yeah, definitely. Amazing. There's a lot of like physical benefits, but I think mental side, I would always encourage people to focus in on, because like, and athletes a lot of the time would always think of more of the physical, like the muscles, the inflammation, stuff like that. But I always encourage them to think of
the mental side.
Yeah.
Because these like athletes, like they've got a lot of challenges and stresses, and you know, if they're not performing, use it as a tool to help their mind. Not forget the body. The body, it doesn't really.
The body look after itself.
Yeah, well, there's lots that they can do for that, and like it ain't going to be the catalyst to sort your injury that you.
No, of course,
you know.
But it can sort your mind out.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there like a right way to do it? Like, how would you talk someone through doing it?
Said it, is there a right way or wrong way
is it like?
So I think there's a lot of misconceptions with people, because they have this fear of cold water and they think of the worst thing that could happen. But you think of those scenarios and it's generally gonna be not in a controlled environment, as in like their fight, flight, shock response, or you know, issues like medical problems. And when we do the workshops, there's medical we go through, so we look at issues like, you know, like heart, brain, pregnancy is a no-go as well. But other than that, it's the environment is really important. So if it's your first time, you want quite a calm nervous system. So for example, the guy with PTSD, he has a whole routine that's like 30, 45 minutes that wrap around, like he'll prep himself, he'll do it, and then he'll have an after approach as well. So if he doesn't have that time, he won't do it, because he understands how that's important, because it's a stressor on the the body. But the main things really is like a continuous rhythm of breath when you're in there, because sometimes if you hold your breath, it almost freezes your response.
Yeah.
So does that then make people panic?
It's just not great for like just your body generally. Like, you want to be quite relaxed and in the best state. So holding your breath, you're probably going to be tensing up a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what the first few breaths look like when you go in, but as long as you're breathing, that's the thing I say. So a lot of the time people it's a bit like, but then they really settle in and they're able to do longer exhales with the breath.
Is it like because you're focusing on your breath, it takes the focus away from how cold the water is?
Yeah, it's more, there's that. And then there's just generally it's better just to have a rhythm of breath with anything really. Most things I do with some of the breath work we do is like breath holds, but again that's slightly different. But yeah, you got to really go into stillness is useful if you've got one of the pods, like just keeping still. Whereas you guys have done it obviously in the sea, which is different.
No, you're getting thrown around, aren't you?
Yeah, you got the movement of the water, which
the elements,
make it a little bit different.
Emma did a sea, do you remember?
Yeah,
when we was in the honeymoon stage, and I was like, "Are you coming to do one?" Yeah, I'll come with you.
I went in up to here and then ran out.
Now she would be like, "No."
Yeah, but like Brighton Sea, like it's just like dirty. Like it's just like looks like dirty water. I was like, I don't want to get my face in it. I'm just being a girl, aren't I?
Yeah, definitely being a girl.
The thing is, if you do submerge, and I coach people once it's their first time and they're sitting and still, I do at the end encourage them to submerge because it is good for like a proper reset. You actually feel calmer once that bit's done. But yeah, like sometimes, like I think again, football players often, like when I coach them, sometimes like they just like to get their legs in. For me, I'm like, you can do it better and properly, and you'll get more benefits because they're like crouching down or holding onto the sides. They like sort of hang on. I call it the halfway house, where people are just like.
They don't want to get that.
But they're not. They won't be able to relax when they're like that.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, relaxing. Because if you thought about it now for the next few minutes, you could sink your body into the chair and you could like relax your shoulders. But people struggle with that because they're like constantly on the and it's the same in the cold. But when you go into the cold, if you can be there and relax, it's an amazing thing, right? Trust your body to be okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
In terms of like temperatures, what temperatures do you normally go to with
the clients? So it depends. So like if it's really cold air temperature, the water will probably be like 5 to 10 degrees. But generally when we do events, we fill it up from the day, and normally you get the really cold overnight if you've left it. So we normally add a load of ice to it. But like sort of, that's a good level, degrees. 5 to 10. But they say 10 to 15 is a good level of exposure as well, 10 degrees. But the colder, obviously it's
the harder it gets. It hits a bit different,
yeah. And like time of day, morning or after exercise, before exercise, like does it matter?
In terms of benefits or just, I think there's pros to all of those. Like I like to do it before, like first thing in the morning. And then sometimes I might even run afterwards. And I feel like it's really, I'm like, I want to run. Like my body's like, because what happens when you go in, your blood vessels constrict. It's called vasoconstriction. So like the blood goes to the core away from the skin. And then when you come out, that's when you get the circulation rush where things start to open up. So then you're like, your body's naturally
really roaring to go.
Yeah. So I like to do it first thing in the morning, and also to get it done.
Yeah, otherwise you're waiting for it all day, right?
Yeah, putting it off.
Do you do it every day?
I do. I do some sort of cold exposure every day. Most days it's like I use the tub in the garden. So did I? Yeah, this morning, like first thing, went into the tub like 2-3 minutes. I usually do.
Would you say that's the right amount of time? Sorry, 2-3 minutes for your clients as well?
Yeah, that's enough for sure. Enough. Like I think when it gets to like sort of spring, summer, the temperature of the water will go up.
I guess you got the heat outside, so you can almost stay in a bit longer.
So I don't actually. I've got a cooling unit that I use. Last summer I didn't, so actually I didn't really do it in the summer. I missed it a lot because like for me it's like it's just it's too warm.
Yeah.
So I used to just use the bath in like and just run cold and it'll be colder than when it was outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's you got to make it a habit. You got to make it something that you enjoy, because sometimes when you think about time, people get competitive and they're like, okay, I can do 3. I want to do 4, 5, 6, and they're in there just like forcing it and not enjoying it. And less is more.
You're giving yourself more stress, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're
just
like,
go in there, submerge, relax.
Sometimes a minute, like just a minute of stillness, that's enough. People just get like, you know, people are like, just like, it's like anything. They just
competitive.
Yeah.
Let's touch on kind of breath work. Like, do you do much of that now as well?
Yeah. So I use the train I've done is called Oxygen Advantage. Have you heard of it?
No, not really. Very need some more education on the old breath work.
Yeah.
So this is like functional breathing. So I guess it's good to compare it to Wim Hof, because you might have seen Wim Hof's breathing.
Yeah.
So Wim Hof has 3 prongs. He has like the ice, like the breath, and like the mental, getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, he calls it mindset, doesn't he?
Yeah, crazy like challenges and stuff like that. His breathing style is basically a hyperventilation, which isn't very functional. It's like the fast. He does like the horse stance breathing. With the Oxygen Advantage, it's more functional technique. So actually looking at how you're holding yourself, which airway you're breathing from. If you can breathe through your nose, that's much more beneficial than using your mouth if you have access. Because some people, like I work with some boxers, and sometimes if they've had a blow to their nose, they don't actually have the ability to breathe. So it's not a case of like nasal breathing is the only answer. It's like looking at mechanics, looking at if you can hit your diaphragm.
Yeah.
Versus the Wim Hof is kind of like, I don't think there's so much coaching at all. It's like just breathe fast for 30 seconds. So basically it's like call it like a CO2 dump. So you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out CO2. When you breathe fast like that, you get rid of the CO2. So have you tried the Wim Hof breath work?
I haven't tried any
No, I
breathing.
haven't.
Really.
No.
Have you, Nath, tried Wim Hof?
Yeah, I do every day.
How do you
Nath
find
Hof.
it? Nath Hof.
Yeah, so basically, like Ben says, it's maybe a little bit unorthodox. It's you breathe in and breathe out pretty quick, and then you hold your breath after 30 breaths or 30, 40 breaths, whatever you want to choose. You hold it for as long as you can. So basically, you just end up essentially starve your brain of oxygen, sorry. That's what it's essentially doing.
Yeah.
It's like so basically, and with the ice therapy, it's all about how you can sort of shock your body. So it's a stress to your cells.
Right.
But what interestingly, I'll just interject, sorry.
No, go for it.
Is like Mike will sort of back me up on this, but I was never ill. And then the last couple of years, I've been ill loads, haven't I?
Yeah.
And then since I've been doing it, the last 6 months, I haven't been ill at all. Everyone around me's been ill, and I don't sleep. Like Mike will also back me up on that. I have like 5-6 hours, absolute tops every night, and I'm functioning really well. And I honestly think that since doing the breathing and the ice therapy, it's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Literally game changing straight away from doing it.
You know, I definitely, that's part of, I think Wim Hof's approach is like the autoimmune.
Yeah, it's massive.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so yeah, you should try it. I use Wim Hof breathing technique for the same approach as Nathan said with regards to a stressor.
Yeah.
So when people are stressed, typically they will overbreathe, their heart rate will go up. They won't have as much control. They'll be have sympathetic nervous system dominance, like fight flight. You know, if someone cuts you up, bang, like everything's like supercharged. And when you do that stressor on the body, let's see how you deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, so they might be then like claw hands, like eyeballs dilated. You know, all these things. So that's why I would use it. And then generally use Oxygen Advantage. But what happens is with that, because CO2 is a primary stimulus to breathe. So with the Oxygen Advantage, it's all about slow breathing to build your tolerance to CO2 efficiency. Wim Hof is kind of the opposite. So you dump it, which then allows you to hold your breath for a really long period. Like Nathan, you'll probably be able to hold your breath how long?
Over 3 minutes.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
What?
So you could, so it's insane. Like you can hold, but it's become quite mainstream, but I think there's a safety thing for me, because like if you do the Wim Hof in the wrong environment, for example, swimming underwater, you could
find
easily
yourself in a bit
get
of trouble.
yourself in
because it makes you
problem.
lightheaded. Basically, he says like in his book, he's like repeats it throughout. Like, do this in a safe environment.
Don't do it in the ice
He
bath.
said, don't do it in an ice bath.
Right.
Yeah, so like, but that's the thing, because obviously he combines ice, hyperventilation, people. Yeah,
You're like
it's
a
just
girl died
important.
doing it basically in the cold, doing his.
Yeah,
methods of
there's a few situations that might have. Yes, but it's interesting. It's if you've got like if you're able to you know blood pressure, all that sort of stuff, then it's interesting to try. You do. Nathan would tell you. I'm sure. Like feel like you're floating when you do his method.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Sick.
Does it calm you down then or not?
I'm quite calm anyway, so I don't know if I need calming.
But would you use it if you were really stressed and you needed to calm down? No.
He does a different one for mood control.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got his app or anything, Ben.
When I
seen
hear
it.
breath work, I'm like trying to calm yourself down in a situation, right?
Yeah, he has a different one for that.
So
Right.
I think the idea of that one is it could be good for that.
Yeah.
But not in the right. But if you've trained and built up your ability to do it, but the oxygen advantage is what I use with like athletes and stuff like that. So like reduced airway, breath holds, again stressing the system in a different way. So you can start doing like sprinting, holding your breath, and it's about doing more with less, and it helps with athletes for example, in football, repeated sprint ability, being able to sprint and having recovery modalities that they might use. So I coach that style, but the Wim Hof is an interesting. Probably Wim Hof is more interesting to see visually. But it's just important. You can try out like it is good. You guys should try it. It's a good experience.
I've been trying to get Mike to do it.
You want to do the ice baths, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I sometimes use it as a stressor before the ice in the workshop, and then I'd use some slower breathing before.
Yeah.
Like a good 20 minutes of the parasympathetic, like slow breathing before, and then afterwards I sometimes like to, if it's freezing, like you mentioned when you did it when it was like -3, you can do like some of the faster bits afterwards, but not straight away.
Right.
So this is the thing, right? You go into the cold, you get vasoconstriction, you get out, it's not gonna, your body won't open up straight away. You just take your time, move gently, and then let your body acclimatize, and then you can start to breathe and move, and then increase the velocity of the breath. And it's very empowering.
Yeah,
I can imagine it's
because you heat yourself up.
Yeah,
you're wearing your swimming shorts, and it's -5. You've just been in Brighton Sea, and you're just standing there like, I feel really hot.
that cold.
What sort of cold is this? Everyone's in their coats and their hats. What's this fucking guy doing?
I'll tell you what, when we got out, it did not feel warm. It was so cold. My feet still numb.
Do you have any questions, Emma?
I don't think so. Actually, just going back to the ice baths, you know when people go from like an ice bath and then they go into a sauna?
Yeah.
What, do you do that or do
it's
you not advise to do that?
No, so like I think it's really good circulation. It's doing vasoconstriction, vasodilation, so like the opposite, and they're good. The contrast. Places like Scandinavia, they've like always done that, which is like part of their culture, and I think it's becoming something more and more over here. Cold showers, sauna, cold shower. That's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I think it's having an understanding if you're doing it, like there's places in London where they've got like these community spaces where you can do the ice and then a sauna, but you could be in the sauna for 15 minutes. You might be shaking for 15 minutes. So understanding that your core temperature has dropped a lot and sitting in the sauna won't switch it straight away.
No.
You have to take your time or understand that that's normal.
Yeah.
But there's meant to be a lot of benefits using the sauna, like cardiovascular health, circulation as well. Lots of
do see loads of
brain
people talking
brain
about
as
saunas.
well, and that's all circulation.
They've got them at Brighton Beach now.
Yeah, they've got a
that's
lot
what
of
I've
different.
seen.
Yeah, you
And
should
and
definitely.
Worthing.
Have you been to it? Or?
I haven't. I've just seen that they've got them now, so I'm assuming people probably go and get in the sea and
And then you get in the
And then get in
sauna.
the
Yeah,
sauna.
that's what I've seen.
we'll do that.
Interesting. Not the sea. Keep me away from
they
the
have-
sea.
they have the ice.
They start. What about me?
They
I've
have
got
the
a
ice.
friend.
There's places that have got the ice bath
Yeah.
as well.
Give me a nice
There's
clean ice bath.
There's a space down there. They got all that.
Yeah.
And the sauna. But yeah, like it's good to see. Like it's like a community thing, isn't it? You know, like people coming together and doing it, and that's how it's always been in Scandinavia. They've always had that thing. So when you probably go there's going to be people, you know, from a certain age, because I think at a certain age sometimes that fear element creeps in, and they'll be going sauna, jump into ice, no fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the fears affect people.
Cool. Tell us a bit more about your performance coaching that you're doing at the moment then.
Yeah, so that stuff is looking at, I guess what I'm looking to do is higher performance. So looking at ways to improve someone's performance, whether it be mental, physical recovery, using the breath to do that as well. Working on understanding nervous system health, looking at stress tolerance, life stress, work stress, looking at routines, you know, morning routine, evening routine. I guess it's like the work is just evolved from when I started coaching as a PT to looking more of like every more or less most facets of them as a person, like emotion.
So many different pillars to someone, isn't there?
Like, you know, and so that's the sort of work I've been going into and working with like athletes and sports people or leaders and helping them to find ways that they can level up, because they're always looking for little ways that they can improve. And there's something there if you ask. But if there's not, then maybe that person's not, you can't really work with those sort of like people as well. But yeah, I guess it's like holistic performance, looking at different metrics we can use, whether it be movement-based tests, whether it be stress tolerance, you know, mental agility, mental stresses, mental fitness. So yeah, lots of different
things to work with people in terms of performance, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, so many different things to help someone go to that next level. So that's interesting. Really interesting. But yeah. Cheers for coming onto the podcast, mate.
Yeah, very interesting.
Very interesting.
I learned a lot about ice baths.
Now I've just got to drag Emma into Brighton Sea.
I wear a swimming hat and goggles.
Oh,
Only if you want to look like a knob.
but yeah, Ben.
Max will be up for it.
He loves swimming, don't you?
Ben, thank you very much for coming on and sharing your career, your times in Magaluf in Egypt, and working with a body coach and all that stuff. Interesting. Can't wait for people to listen to it.
Yeah, what you're doing is amazing. So
no problems.
Keep
Pleasure.
going.
Lovely to chat to you guys.
yes.
Great. Keep it up, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching.